you need something? I'm a bit preoccupied admiring myself in the mirror right now.
Wait, doesn't that mean that her base skin is better than her gacha skin? Charged fragment 200%.
Glass slippers, full contact. Pour out.
Okay. Alright, let's see. Let's see. Defender, rocket launcher, burst 3, electric, 24 ammo capacity. Oh, okay, that's a lot. Reload time 2 seconds, 32% only for the attack damage. It's already considered 200% of the full charge damage also. Fires a laser to perform a small range attack. So it's a rocket launcher, but it's just kind of like a different type. Okay, so it's just continuously attacking. Did it have like AoE effect on it? Did it feel like it had AoE? It doesn't seem like it. Is this another rocket launcher disguised as a sniper rifle?
Glass slipper.
Or no. I mean, is it another sniper rifle disguised as a rocket launcher? Is what I mean. Just like Scarlet Black Shadow, right? Activates when entering burst 3. So this, when entering burst skill stage 3 is basically, it's after someone used a burst skill stage 2. That's when it triggers. So that triggers immediately. Affects of 2.7% of caster's final max HP. 2.27% of the max HP. Wait, compare this to 2B. How much is it? And then charge speed, I'll look at it in a bit after my game loads, but let's see. Charge speed 100% removed upon reloading to max ammunition. Wait, 100% charge speed increase removed upon reloading to max ammo when attacking with full charge. So does she shoot faster when it's when attacking with full charge? Effects all charge speed 100%. Charge once per clip. Oh, hold up. Let's see. So, let's see how it works.
Glass slipper.
I see what it was doing there. I see what it was doing there. So she is charging initially, and then right there, and then release. Yeah. Okay. So that's basically what it was doing. Activates when hitting a target. Wait, so they kind of just like made the work around with how she kind of works, basically. Okay, by making it charge speed 100%, but that also means that we don't really need to build charge speed on her at all, even with her being a rocket launcher, which is good. But basically that's another skill overload line that we're not gonna worry about, right? Unless she has a conversion like Red Hood, but no, it doesn't seem like it. So that's basically, we have one charge speed to one overload line to not worry about, the very least. So attack percent, LA, there's no HP percent overload, unfortunately, so it's likely gonna be a charge damage instead. So the last one would be charge damage, or maybe even max ammo. But yeah, actually, how fast does she use up her ammo? So let's see here. She starts off here. Okay. From 41 seconds. Well, yeah, okay, at base ammo capacity, it takes her roughly 10 seconds. Well, 8, no, not 10, but 9 seconds. So it takes about roughly 9 seconds to just use that up. So, I mean, that's a pretty long duration, actually. So, I mean, at best, maybe we just need like one extra max ammo line, if at all. Yeah, right? Like, so... we need her to not reload on burst, so I think one ammo line so that she doesn't reload during full burst. Yeah, for sure. So just... yeah, so that's the ideal. Let's see. Skill 2, this is the defensive. Activates at the start of the battle, affects self, creates an avatar with 96% of casters final max HP, and then when you enter burst stage 3, okay, so whenever after burst 2, there's another avatar decoy, and then when decoy exists, affects self, she has an increase in max HP also. And then, additionally, affects random enemies. Attacks sequentially for 10 times. And affects target when in beautiful status. Wait, when is she in beautiful status? She is in beautiful status when the decoy exists. Affects self every 3 seconds. So every 3 seconds, it takes about 36 seconds to max the maximum stacks on beautiful. But you are all, as long as there's decoy, then you are in beautiful status. It looks like the decoy exists continuously as long as you do the burst stage skill stage 3. So you do get additional damage depending on how much beautiful stacks you have. That's additional damage. Yeah, so skill 2, this might actually be good for a good number of people. The skill 2 doesn't seem to... well, skill 2 will actually increase her max HP, which will in turn give her more skill 1. So, I mean, both are kind of evenly necessary. Depending on which team you're gonna put her in, which likely, dude, she's gonna be together with Rouge. Like, no doubt about it, Rouge. Like, this is one of the first few units where Rouge buff will actually be relevant. Oh my god, I just realized also, this doesn't have, she doesn't have any attack damage buff. Like, by attack damage, I'm talking about Crown's buff. So she would actually be huge with Crown also. Oh, actually, hold up. Let me think about this because she will buff herself by high attack, actually. Hold up. Let me think about that. Because this will scale. Hold up. Give me 1 second. Because the HP is going to be converted into attack increase, basically. So she essentially has a 135% attack multiplier. Plus or minus, but that's without Rouge. So if we decide to use Rouge, you gotta keep in mind also Rouge is good with Cinderella because Cinderella doesn't have attack damage buff also on her own. So Rouge's skill 2 will actually be really good also with Cinderella, this attack damage. So she would end up having like 200% attack if you add Rouge. So if you didn't have Rouge from the HP, it's just like roughly 135% attack. But then if you added Rouge alongside, and assuming that your Rouge has similar, keep in mind if your Rouge has lower copy, then that HP will also be less. It would be roughly 222% total attack increase because support has less HP than defender, so that's something to keep in mind. That's why I kind of multiplied it on a support unit instead. So attack buffers will mean a little less, but it's not completely useless. Like units that increase ATK is not as useless, because like it's not as useless as 2Bs, because 2B is a bit, if I recall correctly, just from her buff alone it gets to 400%. Yeah, it's just a little less effective. So is Rem useless? Yes, unfortunately. So the main reason why I think that Rem would be useless for her is because Rem's multiplier on her caster's attack is not as big. I would rather have a attack damage buffer like Crown or damage taken increase instead. And again, because you're adding Rouge, if assuming that we're using Rouge already, right? Like let's just go with that assumption right now. So if we do use Rouge, this HP is going to be converted essentially to attack if you use Cinderella, because of how Cinderella works with her skill 2 and skill 1 in particular. The skill 1 will convert whatever her HP is into attack. And that attack is going to be additive to any caster's attack buff that comes in. Also, Rouge, Blanc for Cinderella, and save Crown for another team. That's likely the case. Yeah. Because if you put Crown with Cinderella, so yes, you are taking advantage of the attack damage buff. So for Crown, yeah, you are technically taking advantage of the attack damage buff that she provides, because Cinderella doesn't have attack damage from any of her kits. But the difference is that you're not taking advantage as much of the attack buff, this flat attack buff that Crown is providing. Like other DPS, so to give an example, is Scarlet Black Shadow or Alice, that typically is going to the Crown team. The typical setup for them, their attack is just like 55%. And then you include the HP, and then you include the overload lines or whatever it is, plus or minus, it's like between 55 to 100% for Alice. And Scarlet Black Shadow, her attack damage is from 115% to, and then you add like overload lines, maybe 150%, right? And that's also only when she's bursting. What's the attack percent after converted by the HP percent? I literally just talked about it like 2 seconds ago. Okay, not 2 seconds ago, like literally a minute or two ago. It's without any buffers, it's 135%. And then with Rouge is essentially like about 220% or something like that. Literally, I was talking about it. Activates when entering burst skill stage 3. So the entering burst skill stage 3, it's at the moment you finish burst 2. It's not when during full burst happens. It's like after burst 2, that's when burst skill stage 3, entering burst skill stage 3 happens. Here, let me demonstrate to you. Okay, do you know who I'm gonna show? Your favorite unit. So Summer Neon has a skill when entering burst stage 3. Let me show you. Okay, so let me show you this. So let's pay attention to the buff. So refresh heart, that's from Pepper, and we should be getting Water Jet after bursting with Senti. Water Jet right there. And I haven't bursted anywhere at all yet on burst 3. So I use Pepper, nothing. I use Senti, that's when Water Jet comes in. And that's Water Jet is when entering burst stage 3. So that's what entering burst stage 3 is. Which is different from when using burst skill. So when using burst skill is when Neon or whoever the unit is. And then it's also different from when entering full burst. So those are three different scenarios, three different situations. When using burst skill is when the unit itself is bursting. When entering burst stage 3 is when after you finish burst stage 2, or after you cast a burst stage 2, that's entering burst stage 3. And then there's the full burst effect when there anybody when using full burst effect? I don't have. Well, anyways, you guys know the full burst effect. So she does have this additional damage, and it says up to 10 times attack sequentially, which basically it's 682% times 10 is how I'm understanding this. So basically 6,800%. On top of that, it can mirror the stack count of the beautiful, which is 28.9, so 28.9 times 12, so about 346 plus 682, 9.6, so about 7,000 multiplier. Keep in mind, let's take a look. So just for frame of reference, Red Hood does about 33 shots of 51%. 33 shots. Oh yeah, so about 5k, I guess. So Cinderella has about 7,000. Red Hood has about 5,000. But also, I guess like Red Hood, the difference with her is she can be affected by core. The difference here is it affects random enemies and same target. So this one is, it seems like it's not gonna be shooting like where your cursor is. So this one is not gonna be affected by core. So that's why the multiplier is a little higher. So in terms of burst alone, another thing. By the way, this is something that I forgot to talk about also. She can attack while she's bursting. So, oh my god, that actually completely flew out of my mind just now. So on top of the burst damage, which is 7,000, she is doing regular attacks. And she did so in 9 seconds. She did 24 shots, so plus or minus like 25, 26 shots, right? In 10 seconds. And then her basic attack is 32. But then the full charge damage only is 200. So that's like additional 1,600 damage. So on her, during her burst, she has double attack of Red Hood. She does have bigger multiplier than Red Hood, but also keep in mind, Defender does have less attack. So like, take a look at this, right? My Red Hood has 250k attack. Meanwhile, if I go to my crown only has 167k. So if you actually like take a look at that, with all that in mind, assuming that you have 167 times, not counting rouge, if we're not gonna count rouge, it's like 1.35, right? So it's 225. So even if we're not counting rouge, she's getting 225. So it's not even reaching Red Hoods also. So because she's a defender, her base attack is actually lower. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. There's one thing I forgot after all of this. The skill 1. We talked about everything, but then there's also 136% from her skill 1. And the thing is, she is technically doing full charge damage. So instead of just 32%, it's actually 168%. Oh, I gotta figure out whether attack is better than crit rate, crit damage actually now too. Because attack has less efficiency on her. So this might start a crit rate, crit damage versus charge damage comparison actually. Yeah, because again, keep in mind how attack percent was irrelevant on 2B. Like you get like the overload of attack percent on 2B was actually irrelevant. This actually doesn't do shit. Like you wanted elemental on it. Now we gotta do some calculations actually to figure out whether crit rate, crit damage, charge damage is actually payoff and better than the attack percentage. And it's gonna defend depending on like also the team, right? So for example, like if you had rouge versus you did maybe for some reason, god forbid, that you're using rouge somewhere else instead of not with Cinderella. Yeah, so this is not actually might be as straightforward as it is, because the attack conversion that she gets after the max HP is not very apparent. It's not as apparent as you're thinking. Yeah, and maybe if anything, if I'm gonna build her and trying to overload her, this is just in my mind right now, I would prioritize number one the elemental, just get elemental on every single thing, and then you know, if I get attack sick, right, if I get crit rate, crit damage, charge damage, maybe those are also sick. And but priority is number one is elemental, and then like there's a lot more variation that probably is like not as bad. It's gonna be a long testing. It's not necessarily as long testing, but also the numbers is a little bit more annoying, and we might do more Excel gaming than the actual testing, because again, this is gonna be all theoreticals, because there's a lot of different variations, right? Well, this is gonna be fun, I guess. By the way, did you know that 56% of you still hasn't subscribed yet? Make sure to click that subscribe button, click that bell notification, leave a comment, like, and subscribe.